Hello and welcome back to the final edition of the school year 1920 Haverhill Public Schools Weekly Update. I'm Superintendent Margaret Murata. I am joined this morning by Assistant Superintendent Mike Pifferling.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to our final edition of the school year Haverhill Education Update. And we look forward to seeing you either in our summer programs or back here in the fall for our regular programming.
Absolutely. And across this summer, there's a lot going on in our schools and across our state, and there are many unanswered questions. So we will have updates. They just won't necessarily be weekly. They will be as information that we think is important for families and staff to know about. We'll put those out, so please check your email. Today's weekly update really surrounds our summer programming. Although some of our summer programming is remote across the school district, we do have a robust summer programming platform, and we're hopeful that many of our students will join us either in person or remotely. Today, we'll be talking with Dianne Connelly, who will be talking about our remote programming for all students, as well as our programming for students who may be struggling learners. We'll be talking with the Assistant Director of Special Education, Deb Ibanez, who will be discussing our special education summer programs. Our L Director, Heidi Perez, who will be discussing programs for our English language learner students. Mr. Burns, who will be discussing programs at the high school, as well as no, that's it. So we'll have those four folks on today to discuss summer programming with people. And Mike, I thought maybe you and I would try to give some people a little bit of updates around what's going on for the fall. I know Desi is still asking us to hang on some guidance as things are very fluid with the state and what's next. But we've certainly been doing some planning. You can maybe speak a little bit about what's going on in terms of PPE preparations and thoughts for the fall.
Sure. Right now everything's this week around budget. As you all know, we have our budget presentation coming up next week, followed by our public hearing. So we're excited to present a budget that is very unique. It's a budget that we don't have a lot of guidance from the state, although the city's been great and the school committee's been phenomenal in giving us guidance on where they'd like us to land and how much money we think we get locally. We really don't know how much federal or state money will really come our way this year, and it's about half of our funding. So we really need to know where that money's going to come from. But we're going to do our best with that. But we're still moving forward. We've started ordering PPE, which is personal protective equipment and supplies. We are ordering quite an enormous amount of hand sanitizer, nitrite gloves and vinyl gloves, and paper masks, or not paper masks, but surgical masks, gowns for our nursing staff. We're ordering the partitions, the plexiglass partitions for our common areas for people who come in and visit with our office staff. So we've been very, very busy. Right now, we are very close to opening up our parent registration center over on Burnham Street for new registrations and address changes. They've been open remotely, but now we're looking to get them open in person so you can come in and do your address changes or register your new students. That building is probably 90% ready to open as far as being ready for the public to come in and visit with our staff. So we're excited about that too.
Yeah, they're shooting for a Monday opening, a slow opening, I think, but an opening nonetheless, so that we can begin to serve folks in person. Certainly any paperwork that people need to be dropped off can be dropped off there starting Monday. Our kindergarten registration is a little slow this year. I guess not surprisingly, people generally register their students for kindergarten in the spring, and it's been a very difficult spring. So if you're a parent out there of a kindergartner, I encourage you to get your child enrolled. I know some people are saying they're just not sure about the fall, but registering for kindergarten isn't a commitment necessarily, although we certainly hope students will come. But it does allow us as a school district to plan for the children, to make sure we have enough teachers and enough supplies for all the children in the community. So I would urge people, even if you're a little hesitant about what the fall might look like, to register your child so that we can have a spot for them. And if you change your mind, kindergarten is optional, and that is your choice. If you could let us know that as well as we move forward. But there's no fee for kindergarten anymore. It's free in Haverhill. So please just let us know that your child may be coming. That would be extremely helpful.
And no doubt, especially trying to plan where all the classrooms are going to be and what schools, where we need the most supports. That's critical for us to know. It's probably best for your child also to know if there's a potential that they're coming for kindergarten, where they'll be, what school they'll be in, and we can, once we have them registered, we'll be able to share that information more rapidly with you so you can prepare your child for kindergarten. Waiting until the last minute, it probably puts a little bit of stress on our staff, puts stress on your student, puts stress on your family. So, again, as Dr. Murata said, you can always back out after. There's no cost, there's no obligation, there's no down payments, there's no anything. So it's just a matter of filling out the paperwork and getting us the required paperwork that we need to get your child enrolled.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. I guess the other thing that we want to talk about with summer is food services. We still, every day since mid-March, we've been serving 1,000 meals a day to families across the city, and we're going to continue to do that across the summer without any sort of break in service. Is that correct, Mike?
Yeah, so Friday, which is by the time you watch this video, we'll probably be here. Friday, June 19th is our last day of school, which means it's the last day of regular school year food service. But then come Monday, what is that, the 21st, 22nd, June 22nd, we start right back up. 5 of our 6 sites will continue to serve lunch, which will be our 4 middle schools, Nettle School, Constantino School, Hunking School, and Whittier, John Greenleaf Whittier. That was our latest addition. In addition, we'll continue to serve lunch at the YMCA. The one change that we're going to implement is the Boys and Girls Club will now be serving a dinner program. We're having a dinner program that they're going to start up. So our lunch program will stop there, but all of our other sites will remain open, and you can visit any one of the 5 sites. You can go to 5 different sites, 5 different days a week if you choose to. You don't have to go to the same site every day. Depending on where you happen to be that part of the day or that time of the day, you can go to any of the 5 sites that we have. So it's the 4 middle schools plus the YMCA starting this Monday. So no break in service for us.
Excellent. I think the other thing that's important to highlight that we'll get into more details later as we go through, as we talk to Ms. Connelly, is the fact that we do have a lot of online learning opportunities on our website, and a lot of families have begun to use those, and they've been asking, what will be available during the summer and what won't. At this point, we've had our curriculum coordinators go through and weed out the links to any programs that wouldn't be available during the summer. Some programs take the advantage of the summer in order to update, and they pull things offline during the summer. Anything that's posted currently, you should continue to have access to across the summer for your student, and we encourage students to continue to do that. We're also going to have some remote Google Classroom lessons for all students that we'll talk about a little bit more as we go through. They'll be certainly varied by age, but we're trying to put together a cohort of remote learning superstar teachers who can offer some remote learning opportunities that are fun and engaging over the summer, because we're aware that kids have missed out on some opportunities for school and continue to need some structure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we also have a few congratulations going out. We've got some staff retiring. So after many years of service, I think we did it the other day, but we did a quick math on it. There's over 400 years of experience retiring from the Haverhill Public Schools, at the end of this week, and we congratulate them. We thank them for their incredible service to the Haverhill students over their career, and wish them the best of luck and success, and hope that they come back and visit with us and maybe fill in the classroom here and there as if needed. So that'd be great. We also, again, want to thank all the students. These students have finished their year. Some are moving on to a new school. It's an exciting time for them. We hope you have an opportunity to go back and visit with your staff at your previous school. I know that they didn't quite get a chance to say goodbye the way they would love to have. So if you get a chance to go back and say goodbye to them, I'm sure they'd love that next year or sometime in the future. And certainly our staff. That includes all of our teachers, our ESPs, our cafeteria staff, custodial staff, our crossing guards, our bus drivers. Everybody has just been so wonderful for our students this year, and we thank them for rolling with the punches and making it happen however it needed to happen, because it's been a difficult last 3 months, and they have every one of them have stepped up. So thank you, congratulations. And if you're not working our summer program or attending our summer program, we hope you have a great summer. And those who will be with us with the stuff of the summer, we look forward to seeing your smiling faces.
Well said, Mike. I couldn't agree more. Difficult end to the school year, long 3-4 months, I think, for staff, parents, and students alike. Hopefully, we'll be returning to some normalcy in the fall, and we'll all be looking forward to that. So I would just say thank you to everyone, and have a wonderful summer. Have some downtime, reconnect with family and friends, rest up, and we'll see you in September.
Sounds great. We'll see you in September.
I'm now being joined by Dianne Connelly, our Director of Multi-Tiered Student Supports. And Dianne's been working with our curriculum team and a variety of people across the school district to make sure that we have summer options to support children, mainly in the K-8 range. We'll talk to Mr. Burns later about high school supports. But Dianne, can you tell us a little bit about the options for our students in grades K-8?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. We're really excited in the curriculum department that we have a variety of learning opportunities for every student across the district. We call them 6 buckets, 6 sand buckets full of great opportunities. The first bucket is a remote learning program. It's our summer academy. It's geared towards students that we would like to see be able to close that achievement gap. That will run Monday through Thursday, and those families have we have been in touch with those families. They are excited, they are aware, and they feel confident and comfortable engaging with the technology. In conjunction with that program, we will continue the next bucket, which is our Discovery program. A Discovery is a grant that is in a few of our schools, and they will work with the summer academy, and they have 7 different activities that they're planning for: horticulture, outside rec, fishing, musical theater, and glee club. So we are working with them. The third bucket is the YMCA will be having an in-person summer readers program. It will take place at Haverhill High School. The YMCA is working with parents and transportation to transport children. They will be following all the DESE guidelines for social distancing. The fourth bucket is our community partner, Haverhill Community TV. The curriculum folks have made a series of 12 weeks of learning lessons, K-8, over all content areas. So they will be rerunning all of those video series throughout the summer. You can find that schedule on our website, and it will also be on Haverhill Community TV's website. The fifth bucket is another remote learning, but it is going to be open to any student. We have some really amazing rock star teachers who have really embraced the remote learning, and they will be working together across the district to develop lessons in grade bands, and there'll be several lessons a week that will be optional, but some really fun ideas out there. And our last 6th bucket for the summer is our continued online resources. On the Haverhill Public website, under Parent Resources, under Remote Learning, there's a series of the curriculum online resources that we use on a regular basis: Envisions for Math, STEM Scopes for Science. In addition, there are some other recommended websites from the curriculum department. So Dr. Murata, it's been a busy spring planning for the summer, but we really feel confident that we have something for every student. Just find your right bucket.
Well, thank you, Dianne. So I know I had mentioned previously, I think it's school committee meeting, that we are sort of doing a toe in the water with some in-person learning this summer through Discovery Club. So that will be small and intentionally so, unfortunately, as we try to figure out what the mistakes might be, what we need to be aware of so that we can open school effectively in September. we really want to have the best possible experience for the widest number of kids that we can in September. So we're holding some, minimal remote learning over the summer. We do have multiple programs, as you said, that are remote. And then the online resources that you mentioned. I know I've got some questions from parents about what's going to continue and what isn't going to continue. I think you and the curriculum team have gone through and cleaned everything up and made sure that everything's there is going to continue through the summer. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We have reached out to our curriculum vendors to see what licenses we have throughout the summer. Those resources have been revised and updated. So everything that parents need should be on that website. And yes, I feel good. I feel confident that the minimal on-site learning is going to really help us be able to provide a well thought out plan for the fall. And I'd like to say that right now we have 607 children scheduled for summer programming just through the at-risk targeted children. So our numbers are really good.
Excellent. Well, hopefully we'll get a lot of those kids in and learning over the summer. We want to try to support as many kids as we can across the summer. That's why this year we're offering a variety of experiences where we might not have before, to try to just keep kids engaged and going over the summer. We know the kids have lost learning time, and we need to pick that up. I know you mentioned the online resources as well as many of these programs being remote. I did want to just let families know that people who are staying in the school district this year, if they've borrowed a Chromebook from the school system, are encouraged to keep that Chromebook over the year and into September. Any updates or anything that we need to do, we can make in September. But we are asking people who are leaving the school district to return the Chromebook to their school, to contact the school and let them know. Once you're outside the Haverhill Public School web domain, the Chromebook will cease to work anyways. So it will not be of use to anyone sort of outside of Haverhill Public Schools and outside of this domain. So I would just ask that people return that. Most school districts at this point are providing loaner Chromebooks to students who need them. So, you would just consult with the new school district that you're moving to in order to get that technology assistance if you need it.
Yes, that is correct.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you all are very busy. When can we expect some of these things to be coming online? At what point do we plan to have things available for children?
July 13th is our target date. That has been the date that we've always used in the past. So we are in line for what we have, what we've always been able to accomplish. And July 13th, our summer academy is up and running.
Okay, so July 13th for the summer, the formal remote learning. I know HC Media should be available just immediately, yes. Right?
Yes.
On an ongoing basis.
Yep.
Online resources have been available and will continue to be available.
Yes.
And then in terms of classwork, with the lessons on the Google Classroom or in-person learning, we're looking at July 13th for the programs you've mentioned.
That's correct.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, I thank you for this opportunity, and happy summer. It will be a summer to remember, summer 2020.
Excellent. I'm sure it will. All right. Take care, Diane. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
With me now is Deb Ibanez, the Assistant Director of Special Education for our school system. And she's here just to share with us a little information about the special education summer programming this year. We have a variety of options related to students' IEPs, obviously, but it's playing out a little bit differently this year. So Deb, can you tell us a little bit about what people should expect?
Oh, sure. We will be sending out a letter today that kind of outlines all of our options that we are that will be available. And we have 3 different kinds of programs. We have a 4-week, a 5-week, and a 6-week. And those programs will start, most of them will start July 1st. I'm sorry, no, it's July 6th and go till August 13th. And the 4-week program starts 1 week later and then ends 1 week earlier. So those programs are really for our sub-separate kids, our kids that need the small group. And we're working on a schedule where we're going to start out the first 2 weeks where we'll do the remote learning, which we've been doing for the past 6 or 7 weeks. And then we're going to slowly start to bring kids in small groups and probably do therapy. So we'll do speech and language, OT, PT. And then if we can start to bring in more students as we become proficient with bringing the kids in the small groups. Transportation, we're working on, so I don't have a lot of information on that yet, but we are working on that, and we'll get that information out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that's important to mention, Deb. Transportation is a little bit tricky right now in terms of the number of students on buses and sort of the evolving nature of what's occurring. So I think at least, well, for summer and really beyond, to the extent possible, I think we are encouraging parents to drive their students if they can. You know, the part of the restriction, certainly by the state, is to have far less students on a bus than there were before in order to, you know, have social distancing. So that's certainly impacting us this summer, and all of our summer programmings. I think we'll be having a limited availability of transportation, but again, where parents can, we're encouraging them to drive their students.
Mm-hmm. And I think
conversation, yeah.
Just the last thing I wanted to mention, breakfast will be provided, and then we'll also provide a to-go lunch to take home for the day. So I think that's important, and kids like our lunches.
That's great. And across the summer, you know, there's going to be no break in service in terms of food services for families. If families were picking up lunches at the Constantino or the Hunking or Whittier or the YMCA. The Boys and Girls Club, we did shut down. They are now going to be offering a dinner program there. But those other sites, as well as some expanded sites across the school district, will be open. And then students that are attending summer programs, when they begin to attend, there'll be lunch and breakfast available for them.
So everybody will receive a letter from the special ed department, kind of outlining everything that we're offering. And then parents will also receive a updated remote learning plan. Also, kind of like when we did start remote. So, you know, just an updated plan outlining what we're doing for summer. So. And then any other questions, feel free to call the special ed department. We're staffed all summer.
Wonderful. So I assume that means if in their IEP people have summer services, then they should be expecting an updated service plan and a letter in the mail from special ed in the next few days. Is that right?
I think we're going to start with anybody who gave us an email address, so they can expect it through email, and then those that we don't have an email address on, a letter in the mail.
Excellent. That's great. Well, thank you for joining me today, Deb. I appreciate your sharing this information. I know a lot of families are getting anxious about what's happening for summer, so it's really helpful.
Yeah, we are looking forward to seeing all the kids, or any kids that we haven't seen. It'll be very exciting to if we get the chance to see in person as well. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm here with Heidi Perez, the Director of English Language Learning Services for Haverhill Public Schools. Heidi, good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Murata. Good afternoon to you.
Absolutely. One of the things, obviously, that's on people's mind right now as we sort of hit the middle of June and we're rounding out the end of the school year is they're wondering what's going to be going on for the summer. Typically, we have a pretty robust selection of summer programs, and we're doing that again this year, albeit set up a little bit differently. Perhaps you could share with people how we'll be running our summer programming for our students that are learning English.
Sure. the EL staff, the summer staff, has decided that we will be doing remote learning for our English learners. We sent surveys and letters out to our families a while ago just to kind of temperature check and see how are they feeling about coming back to a building or transportation or those kind of things related to starting a summer program again. And most of our families opted for remote learning. Everybody's learned a lot about how to log on. We already have the Chromebooks out in our families' homes. Our teachers have figured out wonderful ways to connect and make learning engaging and language learning happen. And so that's the way we're going to go this summer.
Okay, so summer programming for ELS will occur. It will be online, it sounds like, and that's beginning, what date will you be beginning that?
We are starting on Monday, July 13th. We will run 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and the program will end on August 6th.
Excellent. Anything in particular you can share with us regarding the theme or the focus for the summer at this point?
Yes, we've been having some good planning meetings and thinking about how can we make learning exciting, accessible at home, and really capture the moment of what we've all been going through. So our theme is growing and changing, and we'll be talking about how life changes, how in science there are many changes that happens, and then we're going to do some growing, all themes related around growing, attaching science standards and math standards that talk about growing and changing. And we want to sort of capitalize on what students might be feeling and experiencing, and we could use summer school to support them through these major changes that we're all going through. So our lessons are in their beginning stages, but that's the theme for the summer. We are talking about doing a lot of oral presenting, putting some end of the session videos together. We'd like to maybe do some capsules, some time capsules, and think about what did I look like or feel like at the beginning, or how do I feel now at the end? So we want to capitalize on this growing and changing and somehow make a way to remember this time, because we know it's historic and we'll always be looking back. So we want to tie that into the learning.
That's wonderful. I think that's great. I mean, we all want to get back to school and get back to in-person learning, but we're not quite there yet. I think some of our summer programs we're beginning to have some in-person stuff, but we want to make sure that we get things right.
Yep.
So that in the fall we'll be able to start back up hopefully and have our kids back in school and learning in person. So
yes, one thing I wanted to tell you, Dr. Marat, is that we have the same number of applications for summer programming for ESL students this year as we did last year when we were doing face-to-face. So that's a credit to our families and teachers, feeling that our ESL teachers have done a good job with staying connected with our families and making remote learning work for everybody. So that's pretty exciting.
That's wonderful. And I know, if students have been invited to be in the program, and if they need assistance with any kind of technology or web, internet, then they can reach out to us and to the teachers, and we can support them in that.
Excellent. So. Wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for joining us. I know you've got a lot of work to do to get this up and running in just a couple of weeks. So thank you and your team.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Hello and welcome to Glenn Burns, the principal of Haverhill High School. Glenn's here to discuss with us today some of the summer learning opportunities at our high school. Good afternoon, Glenn.
Good afternoon.
So I know that you're planning or hoping to have some in-person opportunities this summer, as we're trying to get a small group of students in person and just sort of pilot what in-person learning is going to look like in the fall, as well as some remote learning opportunities. Can you share a little bit with us about what's going on at the high school?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our program Bridge to Haverhill High School, which is a group of approximately 80 to 100 incoming 8th graders. And we're looking to get them up to the high school in person to engage in some summer school activities. Those activities will include executive functioning, biology, math, ELA, and a phys ed / health component. Last year, it was a huge success. We saw a higher level of engagement than in previous years, and we saw pre-COVID-19 decrease by 20% in our failure rate for incoming freshmen, which was huge. As far as our typical high school summer school program, we are still doing a credit recovery to help our scholars recover credits that they may have lost even previous years so that they'll be ready to graduate on time. As well as we're also offering as part of the program kids to take classes to get ahead, and we started that last year. So there's a theater class, there's some art classes, PE health classes, as well as the typical summer school classes that they can engage in, so that they can engage in deeper learning and a little bit more advanced coursework during the school year.
Oh, that's great. So enrichment opportunities as well. I think it's really important that, you know, the kids from moving from 8th grade into 9th grade, those kids that, you know, might have struggled a little bit in 8th grade, might have been reluctant learners. It's important to get them into the building and get them be attached to the building. Moving to high school can be a little bit scary. So I'm glad that that's the population of students that you decided to focus on. I think that makes a lot of sense, in having them sort of come in and meet some people and do some real hands-on learning over the summer.
Yeah, and it gives them an opportunity to at least connect with a teacher or two teachers before they even get in the building, have a go-to person. And one of the components that we really push is the opportunity piece when they do get to the high school. So what are the fall sports? What are the clubs that we have? So almost prepping them to jump right in on day one. Because we know that if our scholars are engaged, if they have just at least that one activity, they're more likely to be successful at the high school level.
And I know, Mr. Burns, you've started some planning around the fall, and in terms of activities, in terms of sports. What further information do we have? Are we still in that holding pattern, or are we starting to get some more clarity around what will and won't be offered at this point?
We're still in the holding pattern as far as what can be offered. We've planned through a few different scenarios. As far as the instruction goes, with a component to remote learning, we put out surveys this weekend for parents. On Friday, I believe it was, for students, and Sunday night for teachers. So we're getting feedback on how it went this year. And we know there's plenty of room for growth because we have to jump right in this. And that will really help us target planning as well as structures for the remote learning component. And then we're waiting on further DESE guidance so that we can move forward with our planning for the school year. But we'll be more ready for a variety of different scenarios than we were when this came about the first time.
Excellent, and thank you for mentioning the surveys. We also, as a school district, we are sending out surveys in the next 24 hours or so to all the pre-K to 8 families to get their input on remote learning, as well as the rest of the teachers across the school district. So families can look for that, either a survey from Haverhill High School, or there should be a survey coming from the superintendent's office, so that they can give us feedback on what worked. And we're well aware that not everything worked. So what didn't work, and maybe more importantly, why or how, in case we have to go back to this remote learning and we're forced to do that at some point, how can we improve upon that to better meet the needs of our students? All right, so that sounds good, Mr. Burns. It sounds like you'll have some remote learning at the high school this summer, as well as some in-person learning. I know that there'll be some of the facilities are beginning to open up slowly in terms of some of the outdoor sporting facilities and things are beginning to open for usage of the teams over the summer.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to getting kids back on campus, utilizing our facilities. all safety first. So I know Mr. O'Brien has paid special attention to that, making sure all the guidelines are being followed. And we'll continue to do that because we know our kids want to be back. That came across in the early part of these surveys, and we just started getting the results. Kids want to be back. The teachers want the kids back, and families want the school to get back to normal as soon as possible. So we're going to do whatever we can to get everybody back to some normalcy.
I think we're all ready for a little bit of normal, Mr. Burns. So I thank you. Look forward to the summer. I'm sure, while this is sort of the last video that we're going to be doing on a weekly basis, I'm sure over the summer, intermittently, we'll be sharing some videos with families and be asking you to join us and give us some updates on what's happening at Haverhill High.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, that wraps up our weekly educational update for Haverhill Public Schools. This is our last week of school in the 2019-2020 school year, and it's been quite a year. We will not have weekly updates over the summer, but as we gather information, find news that is important to share with you, and are able to more concretely lay out our plans for the fall, we will have occasional updates. So please check your email and be aware that we'll be sending out information as it becomes available to us to keep you informed so that you can have the most up-to-date information about what school will look like for the 2021 school year. If you have questions, as always, feel free to email me at superintendent@haverhill-ps.org, and we will do our best to include those questions in our updates. So I hope you all have a lovely summer and you get some relaxation and some sun, and we'll be back hopefully in school before you know it. Take care.